Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Talking Movies with Blaine Childress. I'm your host, Blaine Childress, and we're here with Blake again, back again at the studio.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Yeah. That one filmmaker, you forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah, just in case you guys want to see more Blake, he's that,
Subscribe to That One Filmmaker on YouTube.
That One Filmmaker on YouTube.
I make content sometimes.
He's a movie reviewer. He makes movies. You do it all, Blake.
I don't do anything.
You don't.
I'm lazy.
You suck.
I suck at everything.
So today, on this episode, we are going to be talking about the new Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma.
It's not just a documentary, though.
It's
other things.
It's other things, and we'll get into that once we get there. And we're also going to be talking about the David Fincher film, The Social Network. So for this episode, we're going to have the two movies be related and have like somewhat like they're like connected in some way. Not like the last episode where we just did Tenet and Rocky 4.
Well, hey, okay, look, those both did have a connection. You know what that is? I actually just thought of this.
Sylvester Stallone.
No, he wasn't in it. No. It's both are anti-Russian. Both have Russian villains.
Oh my god, I didn't think of that.
So technically,
that's the connection with the first episode.
Title of episode 1: Russian suck.
People in Russia are villains.
They bad.
They're so bad.
They're all villains that want to kill Americans.
So, and as for the first episode, we're going to start out this podcast with movie news, movie and TV. So, like, things that have been confirmed, stuff that are rumored, stuff like that to keep all you listeners in the know when it comes to movies and TV.
This is fake news.
Yeah, this is all fake news because this is technology and social media.
It's all ruining our lives. We're already talking about
just go read a newspaper. Don't listen to this.
No, don't even do anything. Just stay in your house.
Stay in your room. Don't do anything.
And stop breathing.
Stop breathing. Just stop living, please. Okay, so big on movie news at the very top, we have Tenet box office. Christopher Nolan's new film still hitting big overseas, but U.S. struggles continue. Big movie news. So another shout out from our previous episode, Tenet. I guess since this is big, since this is like the only really big movie that's out right now.
It's just not doing well in America.
Yeah, because due to
Americans suck. Just like
we switched. Americans are the ones that suck.
Yeah, episode 1's now Americans suck.
But yeah, COVID has really made things a lot harder for Christopher Nolan to make some monies with Tenet.
It's weird. Like in other countries, it's being more successful, while in America.
Why do you think that?
Well, that's the thing that I'm asking. I don't really know why. In America, it's having problems.
Because is like COVID. Like
I think people have more COVID fears in America since it spread so bad than in other countries where I guess politically they've been handling it better. Yeah. But yeah, we don't talk about politics. We don't want to talk.
We don't want to do that.
We don't
boring stuff.
Boring.
I wonder if it's like the biggest like in like China or Japan. I feel like they would like eat Tenet up.
Eat it up.
I think they would.
Why specifically China and Japan?
I don't know. They just
Are you just saying that like? No, I'm not trying to like do like a. Are you talking about coronavirus? No, like a Chinese blockbuster thing. Well, Blaine, that's for stupid movies. That's for
like Tenet.
No. Tenet's a smart movie for smart people that we're just too stupid to understand.
No, I understand it. It's completely. I understand.
This episode is also an aftermath for the Tenet video.
This whole episode is just gonna be us complaining about Tenet again. That's how it sucks. All right, so
move on from Tenet. We're never talking about it ever again.
Never again. What is Tenet even? So, other stuff when it comes to news. Star Wars star Alden Ehrenreich.
Wait.
He's the guy that played young Han Solo.
Alden?
Alden.
Alvin?
Alden. Alden.
That's a weird name.
Wow.
I'm making fun of him already.
Roasted him. Pushes back against narrative surrounding Solo. Thanks to a director change in the middle of production, mediocre box office performance, and pretty good but not great reviews, the narrative surrounding Solo has been consistently negative, or at least tinged with negativity. Did you ever watch Solo?
I watched the first 10-15 minutes, and then I kind of just stopped watching.
You just gave up because you didn't like it?
It's not bad. It's just I don't really care. I like Star Wars movies, but it's
You're not a Star Wars guy?
Well, no, it's I like watching the saga of all the movies, but it's the spin-off a Star Wars story movies just really weren't that interesting, especially Rogue One. Rogue One is a movie I don't think I'm ever gonna have to watch ever in my life ever again.
Yeah.
And Solo just feels like an attempt with Rogue One, they're all right, we're gonna tell the story of what happened before Star Wars Episode 4. So it's it's a sequel to Episode 3, but it's prequel to Episode 4. It's 3.5.
Yeah.
But with Solo is all right, do you want to know the origins of Han Solo, a popular character? Here you go.
Apparently they're going to keep doing that with that Obi-Wan Kenobi movie.
Well, man, at least Obi-Wan Kenobi is a mysterious figure. It's like Han Solo. Han Solo is just a guy with a gun. Just shoots people.
Just a guy with a gun, and that's it. Next on the news. Justice League's Ray Fisher claims DC boss has issues with Joss Whedon as well. So have you been keeping up with the whole drama with Ray Fisher and all that?
Yes.
What are your 2 cents on that?
Personally, I think it's just weird. It's I feel like they've used Zack Snyder's cut as just this inopportune.
And what we're talking about Justice League, Zack Snyder's
classic film.
Classic, amazing movie. But it wasn't even his. It was some Joss Whedon mismatch.
Yeah, but it's because of this cut being announced, they've it's an inopportune moment where they're all right, now we're gonna talk about how Joss Whedon's such a bad person.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it feels why? Why are you doing it right? Especially with COVID going on.
Well, have you heard all the stuff that he did?
All I heard was
all the harassment.
All I heard was harassment and abuse happened on set.
Mm-hmm.
Which
has anything specific have come out?
Not really. All it's been is Ray Fisher's just oh yeah, harassment, abuse. I'm so used to hearing about sexual harassment movies that now when a guy comes out and just says, oh yeah, this guy was just flat out abusing us and beating the crap out of us, now I'm just what? That actually happened? But I mean, the main thing I've heard is that Warner Brothers is refusing. It's Warner Brothers said that Ray Fisher wasn't cooperating.
And Ray Fisher is the person, the actor who played Cyborg in Justice League, just in case you guys don't know.
It's they said he wasn't involving himself with the investigation, but then Ray Fisher came back and said, no, Warner Brothers is not cooperating in investigations. And then Jason Momoa just randomly came in and said, this has to stop, guys. We have to solve this problem. Joss Whedon is such a bad person. And again, it's just there's so much stuff going on right now. I don't really care, I guess. I sound bad saying that. But it's Justice League. Who cares?
Well, I don't really know.
Rest in peace, Zack Snyder.
Rest in peace. Didn't even die. And lastly, the last bit of news we're going to talk about is The Devil All the Time. Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson's new Netflix movie. Of course, the internet has thoughts on Robert Pattinson's accent and the devil all the time. There's not a lot that Robert Pattinson can do that won't inspire debate at this point, which is very true because he's literally in every movie now coming out.
Well, here's the thing.
Have you seen that movie?
No, the only thing I've seen is reviews, and reviews have been a lot more mixed than I thought it would.
Yeah. Same.
Because one thing when it comes to the accent from that, of course, both of them are British guys trying to do Southern accents. Yeah. Which kind of sounds like a recipe for
disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's just well, I don't know, a little boy from Alabama.
They just try way too hard to make it sound really
I believe in Jesus.
Make it sound really thick. They don't have to. But
yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know much about the movie. I saw the trailer. I thought it was vaguely interesting, but I mean, like, reviews have just been like, 85, maybe like 75%. Like, it was around in that
I thought
area.
it had like a 60 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Has it changed? Check it right now.
Okay.
We gotta confirm our information.
We need to confirm our information. Make sure we're not saying making sure we're not saying any fake news.
It's like we'll be right back music.
We'll be right back music. Yeah, 66%.
Oh man, it got less. It got even worse than what I thought. So actually, lower reviews than Tenet. Good for that. I'm probably going to watch it just because, like, okay. Quick thing: why is Robert Pattinson in everything now? Is it just because Batman?
Well, no. It kind of started
because a while ago. Because it was Lighthouse, and what was that other movie?
Well, he was even like in a couple independent movies before The Lighthouse. Like,
what was the other movie that he was? Was it called like High Life?
He was in a movie called High Life. It was like a space movie, and it was really weird.
So I feel like Lighthouse was like the birth of like everything. Or like after The Lighthouse came out,
that's when people were like, "Oh my gosh, Robert Pattinson's pretty good. We need to get him in everything."
Because like I think the joke is like, "Oh, dude, the guy that played Edward in Twilight, we can have him and stuff, and he can."
And he's actually really good.
And he can be a character. He doesn't have to be a vampire man.
Yeah, but now he is actually the Batman.
That is the weirdest thing ever. I still cannot believe that Edward from Twilight became Batman.
Is Batman now. I can't wait for it. I actually am really hyped to see this new Batman movie.
I'm just hoping that his performance is pretty good. And I'm
actually hoping it's actually going to be bad.
I want it to be a very bad performance. Good movie, but I hope Robert Pattinson does a terrible job.
And the movie's still going to be good.
Yeah, and quick question. So, was the original plan for Ben Affleck to be in that movie? Or was...
So... Okay, I guess we'll talk about this too with film news.
Batman now.
It's a Batman episode. Originally it was supposed to be a Ben Affleck movie.
But like
he was supposed to write it, direct it, star in it.
But would it take place in like modern times?
I think it originally started as this was supposed to take place like in the same like timeline as like Justice League and all that, and it's just supposed to be like. I don't know. That's all I got is that it was supposed to be starring him, directed by him, written by him, and then he started losing his touch, I guess. And
I think
because originally that one movie, that too, and he had another movie. It was called like, it was some gangster movie he made.
Oh yeah, that he directed. And everybody hated it.
Yeah, everybody hated it, and whenever he was like in interviews and stuff like that, everybody was more focused on the Batman rather than like his own like personal projects that he wished that people can really focus on, which I understand, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, when you're like taking a role like the Batman, it's probably what like
everybody is wanting you to do.
Everybody wants to hear about that rather than some movie that you made.
It's a big Hollywood project.
And then he left. And then...
I guess Matt Reeves...
And then Matt Reeves came onto the project.
And I guess the idea was, well, if we're not going to have Ben Affleck in it, we're just going to make this its own thing. Which I was going to be like, this has to be a solo thing. But they're creating that TV show out of it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That, like, it was originally supposed to be in the same timeline as the DC movies. But now it's going to be, like, its own, like, universe and stuff like that. That's what I've heard. But anything could change.
I'm hoping that it is just like its own one-off thing, because personally, while I, like these, well, I'm actually kind of falling out of fashion with universes now. I'm kind of preferring just watching a movie, and if they say, okay, we're going to make a direct sequel to it, then let's do it. Because Joker worked out, so I think they're wanting to continue with this, which I think is what they said. They're more interested in like having kind of the
stories,
like having kind of a DCEU where
like
there'll
multiverse.
There'll be a DC universe that they'll make movies in, like the Suicide Squad and other things. But they're also going to have just movies that have nothing to do with anything. So it's like, oh yeah, you want to watch a movie about Batman in the 80s or whenever it takes place. I'm not even sure. When Batman...
I think it's in the 90s.
When Batman being a detective and it's a dark, gritty movie, sure, watch it. You want to watch a movie with the Joker murdering people or whatever? Sure, watch that. Like, I guess it's kind of a mystery box sort of thing, which I think is the best thing the DC can do right now compared to Marvel, because Marvel is just... They're just going full steam ahead with this whole universe thing, because Endgame made like $5 billion trillion.
Yeah.
So I guess we're done with talking about
I guess
the
we're
Batman.
done the Batman, and that's going to conclude movie news.
Movie news.
So now we're going to get into the new release that released quite recently. It's a new documentary.
Hybrid drama.
Hybrid with a little bit of like
a dramatization
story narrative
that's poorly woven in, and it's terrible.
It's called The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you want to check it out. It's this new documentary. It's all over social media. And
the manipulation of users of social media into doing things, the concept of social media being like a drug, and there's a lot of political discussion with social media. It's just like, it's a big conspiracy. Well, it's not. Well, it can't be a conspiracy because these are people that actually like helped.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so all right. The documentary, it has experts, I guess. Social media experts.
Well, some are like people that are like, oh, professors. Oh, I wrote a book, but some of them are like, oh, I was the leader of growth at Google for a few years.
Actual social media company people. Like employees, and they're being interviewed about like what they think the
like problems with social media.
Yeah, what
the humane issues that are going on with social media.
Yeah, what are the problems? How are we gonna fix them and stuff like that? And then they throw in these like scenes of like drama, like it's like a what's the word am I looking for? It's a movie with like a narrative, I guess, sort of like just like they
throw in a narrative to go along with the documentary because they feel it needs to, which I feel like it's the most just like condescending thing to do. It's like, we understand you don't understand anything we're talking about, so we're just gonna give you a movie to watch. Like, you don't understand anything we're talking about, so here's a guy that's on his phone, distracted from the world. I want to hang out with my girlfriend.
So the story is, there's this kid, and he's having problems with his family about, like... Social media and...
being very attached to his phone
and stuff like that.
And it just sort of progressively gets worse. Like, at first, it's very... lukewarm. He's not really that into his phone, and then by the end he's just like
going crazy.
Even though like acting wise he isn't like crazy into it. I kind of wish he went over the top and just
started pulling his hair out. His eyes were all bloodshot.
Like, that'd at least be funny. But no, literally the actor is just what's it called? Neutral. Yeah, neutral. He just stares at his phone.
So yeah, that aspect is really bad. I don't like that.
There's no storytelling at all.
And it just turns into this like crappy Black Mirror episode.
It's a crappier version of Black Mirror season 5, which was already a bad season.
Why season 5?
Because season 5 was the newest season, and it's the one that like where there was only 3 episodes and they were all like kind of just stupid, and they felt like a parody of Black Mirror. There was one good episode that I actually liked, but the other 2 were just kind of stupid. Yeah. So this is like an even stupider version of stupid Black Mirror, which is pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
The main problem with the narrative given in the movie is that the storytelling is just not there. There is no, because since we're not getting an actual movie, we're just getting a bunch of put together scenes mixed in with interviews of a documentary. We don't get like a exposition or a rising action, climax, falling action, or a resolution. We don't get anything. We just get like, oh, he's not into social media. Now he's really into social media. Now it's getting very unhealthy. And then now he gets arrested.
Do you think this would have worked? I definitely think this documentary would have...
It would have been way better without the narrative.
Yeah, it would have been way better.
If they just cut in footage of like what's going on now, maybe it's an editing problem.
Yeah, maybe that's why they did the jump, because they didn't have a lot of stuff that they could like put in.
They probably had like a 55-minute documentary, and they just decided, well, we're going to shoot 30 minutes. It didn't even sound like 30 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes. It was honestly like a short film that was just thrown in, like, okay, well, this will make the movie longer, which is good. It just felt slapped together. It's just flawed.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. But, like, here's the thing. I'm not really big into documentaries, so I can't, like... I can judge a movie pretty good, but I can't...
No, I'm talking about your hair.
Oh. Okay. I can't judge a movie fairly... Shut up. I can't judge a movie fairly, but I can't judge a documentary all that well, because, like, I just haven't really been into
the documentaries. I've seen a few, and, I mean, like, at this point, I don't know if I can fairly judge it, but it's like, documentaries are good when you understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. You get the message behind, like, that the filmmakers are trying to tell you, mm-hmm. and also it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, that's why there are some documentaries that are not really informative. Like, oh yeah, everybody loved The Tiger King when it came out, mm-hmm. but one problem with that is I don't really think there was much of a message. It was more like dude, these people are really cool and crazy and there's a bunch of, it's a tale of murder and stuff. This is so funny and cool. But it's like, what are you supposed to take away from it? Like, don't be energetic and crazy and sexist and a terrible person.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's like, with this documentary, I feel like there is a message. It's just the message is well, I don't want to say flawed, because it's interesting and there is stuff to it. It's just, at the end of the day, it's people looking at you and saying, oh yeah, that Instagram you're using, yeah, it's manipulating your mind into believing things that aren't true, and it's ruining your life. Like, I mean, there are things that are true. Like, you know, suicide rates have correlated with the boom in social media, and how more and more teenage girls are committing suicide because of, you know, they have this very inflated, like, view of themselves where, like, they have to be as pretty as filters or whatever.
Popular girls and stuff
they need
like
to be popular, and if they're not popular, then they're not, you know, worth it to live, and so they commit suicide. Like, there's a lot of issues that are brought up in this movie that are interesting, that are really, really good. But
really good.
But really good movie. But it's like, they're good and interesting, but so what? I think that's one problem with this movie, is that, like, they have a big, like, stating of the problem. Mm-hmm. They state the problem for an hour and 35 minutes. And then when it comes to, like, the so what, like, this is what we should do to fix the problem, all they say is, well, we just need to fix all of social media. We gotta completely fix the design, and that's it.
Yeah, they never really explain, like, why or how. There is they explain why, but they don't really explain, like, how it would change.
Like, they
don't blame them, because that's, like, a future.
This is all concept. Just, like, something that we don't know yet. Yeah. Like, there is no short-term call to action, like, oh yeah, everybody that's watching this right now, just don't use your phone for a week. Or, like, something that would call to action, like, tell people you shouldn't use your phone. Or, like, something we can do to tell social media companies, oh yeah, you need to change your policies on regulating your posts and stuff. But they say, oh yeah, long-term, oh yeah, Facebook, all these people, you need to reprogram everything, change everything, make sure that you're not trying to manipulate people. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Why did I watch this?
It's for real. And yeah, and I think they, like, in the documentary, they, like, went off on, like, different, like, topics that can be sort of correlated with social media, but, like, I just...
It's a stretch?
Yeah, I think it felt, like, really, like, okay, are you really... Like, they went into, like, a lot of different, like, political issues, like, COVID, Like, they just talked about, like, COVID, like, a lot. But I think they really talked about that because they wanted to talk about fake news. And you have all those, like, idiots going around saying that COVID isn't real and that it's, like, a government... Like, the government implanted the virus to, like, do something. They just wanted to show that, like, don't believe everything you see on social media, which is, like, I don't know, when you're, like, over the age of, like, 17, that should be, like, obvious. Or, like, that should be, like, oh, yeah, you shouldn't just, like, trust everything.
That should have been the lesson, to be honest, at the end of the day, was just telling people, don't trust everything you see. But, like, I guess their idea is, even if you're telling yourself that, you're still going to, at some point, trust everything you see.
Yeah, and it's also kind of vague, because, like, not everything on the internet is fake news. Like, I mean,
they mentioned that whole idea of, like, how fake news is 6 times more, like, likely to be viewed than normal news, which is, like, 1 time. It's six times more likely to be viewed than normal news.
Yeah, because, like, conspiracy theories, they're interesting.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what if the Earth was flat? What if COVID's not real?
What if we never went to the moon?
It's
a much more interesting story than what actually happened.
COVID is infecting 13 million people right now. COVID is not real.
It's fake. The government is against you. We're living in a lie.
I don't need to wear my mask. Dude, what if we are living in the Matrix?
What if we're living in a bubble? It's just... It's a lot. That's why, we're not going to get into, like, conspiracy theories.
There's a whole can of worms.
That's, like, a whole other podcast that we can make for that. But, like, it's just, I don't know. When you, like, base your whole documentary off that, it kind of just, like, oh, all right, man. We're talking about social media. We're not talking about if COVID is fake or not.
Like, it has the same effect that I had with, what was the episode titled? Black Mirror, what was it called?
Which one?
It was the one where Bryce Dallas Howard, on the phone app. I forgot what it was called.
Nosedive,
that's what it was. It has, like, people love that episode, and I had the same reaction that you're mentioning with it myself, where I was like, guys, it's social media. We're not gonna be plunged into a dystopian society where social media drives our lives and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think humans have evolved to the point where, like, we won't let that happen, or at least trust that it won't.
Or if it hasn't happened yet, it probably will, because I feel like some of us, keynote on some of us, are smart enough to know that, like, yeah, social media is, at the end of the day, it's digital, you know.
It's not reality.
Yeah, but, like,
it's digital reality.
Yeah, like, the only thing I've watched recently that has made, like, a commentary on social media that I believe to be, like, actually kind of funny and it made, like, a message was, it was actually very similar to Nosedive, and it was an episode of, actually it was Community. They made an episode discussing the same thing where, like, app developers came to the college and they introduced an app and they were like, oh yeah, we want you guys to beta test it. Basically, you give, like, it was the exact same idea as Nosedive, where it's like, you can give your friends, like, ratings, or it's like, oh, this person is a 5-star person, but this person's a 1-star person, I don't like them. And they're like, wow, this is a cool thing, I wonder how this will turn out. And then it's like 3 days later, and the school's evolved into a dystopian society.
People who are, like, 1 stars are, like, ostracized. And
like, the 5 stars are all wearing, like, fancy outfits.
Yeah.
And, like, that was actually, like, funny. And, but, like, with Nosedive, it was just, like, it felt like, okay, you know, come on, this is stupid. Yeah. But, like, this is an actual documentary. People are actually saying it. And while I can see how social media can cause some of this stuff,
mm-hmm.
You know, again, like I said before, so what? Why am I supposed to care? You know, like, you got to call to action. You got to tell me what I need to do.
Tell me what to do.
I want you to literally spell it out.
I want movies to tell me what to do because I'm dumb and I don't know what to do.
I can't understand. This is the second episode where we've mentioned how dumb we are and we can't understand what we're watching.
So yeah, overall, Social Dilemma, I didn't really like it. I didn't really enjoy it. It didn't really hold my attention, which is what a movie is supposed to do.
It's the point of entertainment.
It's the point of entertainment. It's supposed to be entertaining. Overall, I'd probably give it like a, I don't know, 4.5, 5 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but like I just think it would have been way better. That would have took
if it was more focused.
If it was more focused, and if it would have taken out those like stupid movie-like segments.
Dude, they're literally creating models of us, 3D models that they're manipulating.
That's so dumb and stupid. They should have took that stuff out. It literally did. It literally didn't do what it was supposed to do, which is make it more interesting
and make it a serious thing. Like it was laughable. It was pretty funny.
They literally accomplished
nothing.
Nothing. What would you give it, Blake?
I would agree. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 because at the end of the day, the topics, while we're saying like it's hard to believe connecting things like political sabotage and stuff like that with social media is a stretch. But at the end of the day, 2020 is a terrible year. There's so much crap happening. So because this is all something that we don't know about. And that's what they mention is we don't know if this stuff is happening. We assume it is because social media is just something that is controlled by, an AI and a bunch of computers. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because it is interesting. I mean, I think what they're talking about is interesting and it's something you could have a debate about in a class. That's why I think the movie is being shown at classrooms everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's that's how I was introduced to this movie, was a teacher showed it to me. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the documentary is interesting and it could have been so much better if they just got rid of the stupid movie moments.
Exactly.
It was just awful.
It was just dumb.
Bad writing, bad storytelling, bad acting.
Make better documentaries, Netflix.
Bye.
Alright, that's it.
We're done.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about something that I love, which is David Fincher, bro. I love David Fincher, and especially I love David Fincher. He's a filmmaker, he's a director, he's directed all sorts of movies from Fight Club to Seven to Gone Girl to The Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
It's a lot of movies.
Benjamin Button. One of his movies is The Social Network, the movie about Zuckerberg
and the creation of Facebook
and making Facebook while he's at college or while he's getting out of college, actually. And I love this movie. What are your thoughts, Blake?
So I haven't completely watched this movie. I've kind of just taken it bit by bit over the past couple of years that it's been out. But there's a lot of interesting things with this movie. First of all, this is a movie that I would never expect David Fincher to make. But it's David Fincher is starting to make more and more reality grounded movies, with stuff like I don't know, never mind. Yeah, I kind of thought he made something else for a second. I thought who made that Steve Jobs movie?
Oh, that's Danny Boyle, the Slumdog Millionaire.
Danny Boyle, that guy. But he is making more reality movies. This is a movie just about the creation of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and
going through trials.
Yeah, and
going
that's
through lawsuits.
It's
so yeah, basically the whole movie, it's scenes of Mark going through several different lawsuits because not only is two people who are making a similar app suing him, but his best friend and business partner is also suing him because he didn't get money.
He stabbed him in the back.
Stabbed him in the back by not giving him enough profits and stuff like that. And it's cut in between
showing his past,
showing him making Facebook and getting stuff together. And I just I love David Fincher's style, his dark shadows and his visuals, and just I I love the movie so much.
The main thing that I've appreciated about the movie is I like the fact that, like, with the idea of the creation of Facebook, like, that sounds like something that'd be kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the cool thing about the movie is it's a story of betrayal. It's a story of so much stuff that isn't just like, oh, this is Mark Zuckerberg, he's a smart guy, he made Facebook. Like, there's a lot of just stuff. It's a story about, like I said, it's betrayal. Mm-hmm. And I think the quote that's on the poster is, like, probably, like, the coolest thing about it is, I remember it was like, you don't make a million friends without making some enemies. And that's
like the basic, like, theme throughout the whole movie. Is it just like
you don't create something as big and expansive as, like, a company like Facebook without causing some people to be angry and hate you.
Yeah. And it correlates with Social Dilemma because, I mean, Facebook is the biggest
thing that they talk about.
One of the biggest social media platforms today. And it's just driving a lot of what the problems that the Social Dilemma brought up, which is companies taking your information and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And The Social Network, David Fincher's movie, it's a lot less doom and gloom in The Social Network, but it still has that very bleak tone throughout. Like, it really paints Mark Zuckerberg as this, like, guy who made Facebook because some girl didn't want to date him, so he, like, tried to, like, make this, like, company so he could, like, try to, like, forget about this girl that didn't want to date him. And it just sort of just paints Mark as this, like, pretentious, like, insecure dude. And I don't know, I really, and yeah, and of course that's probably not, like, how it was in reality. It was a movie.
It's just David Fincher is trying to give you a reason to understand. Like you said, he's painting a picture of Mark Zuckerberg and giving you context as to sort of, you know, how he would want to create something like Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It really is. I really love the movie, and I definitely would recommend all you listeners to go and watch it. I don't know if it's on any streaming services. I mean, if it is, go and watch it. If it's not, I definitely would say that it's definitely worth the money to watch it. You know, you can rent it, like, for, like, less than $5, I bet, on Google Play. I definitely think it's worth it. I definitely think you should watch The Social Network. I would give The Social Network a 8.5 out of 10. I really love it. I definitely think it's ranked at David Fincher's best. Definitely up in his, like, top 5 with, like, Fight Club and Seven and Gone Girl. I think it's definitely one of the best movies he's made in his filmography, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna do, what he's gonna do next. I mean, Social Network obviously isn't his newest movie, but I just can't wait to see what he does next, because I think he's still focused on his Netflix shows that he's making.
Oh yeah,
like House of Cards and Mindhunter and all that.
Actually playing House of Cards. It's done.
Why'd you whisper?
I'm trying not to make you sound stupid.
Well, I know it's done, but I'm saying, I mean, Mindhunter is still.
Whatever listener is like, he doesn't know House of Cards. It's already ended.
He's such an idiot.
He's such a loser. He doesn't know TV.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he's gonna cook up the next time he makes a film, and stuff like that. What would you? I mean, you haven't really.
I haven't watched all of it, but I mean, I can say, from what I've seen, it's very good. Especially like one thing I loved about it was when I went to a like film class at a festival I went to. One thing they literally did was they just gave us like a page of the screenplay, and we just like read it out, and like the whole point of it was to analyze. Aaron Sorkin wrote it.
Yeah.
Like the intricate details placed within. It was actually the opening scene of him talking with
that girl.
And like that's the one thing I think is great from what I've seen of the movie is there's a lot of intricate details and moments, and like even like reading the script, it's like very detailed with how the actors are supposed to act and how like the scene is supposed to feel, and it's great at what I've seen.
Yeah, and the acting's all great all around. You know, Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Garfield, Justin Timberlake. I definitely think they all did great performances, and so yeah, so we're gonna be wrapping up here on this episode of Talking Movies with Blaine Childress. Thanks, Blake, for coming back on for this episode.
I'm so happy I got to be on, Blaine. Your one and only guest.
The only guest that's ever going to be on the show ever. But be sure to stay tuned for next episode of Talking Movies, where we're going to be talking about new releases, old releases. It's going to be a good time. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.